All right, we'll cut it out.
All right.
The Killing, you know who that's written by, right?
Yeah, Oklahoma's own Jim Thompson.
Jim Thompson, which brings us to what our next one is. You want to tell him? You want to introduce him?
After Dark My Sweet, James
You
Foley.
idea about me, Carly? We just met.
I don't have any idea.
Get a shot of that, Ian.
Get a shot of that.
Ian, you get a shot of that? You get a shot of that, Ian?
Let me see what I can stir up for you.
I don't want him talking you into this mess.
Family's ready to pay up.
Don't hurt me.
They just want the boy back.
How about it? Wake up, Polly.
Faye doesn't trust me, and I don't trust her. We both don't trust you.
After Dark, My Sweet.
Starts Friday.
This movie's part of a wave of kind of like mid to late 80s into the late 90s desert set neo-noir crime films.
Yeah.
This is one of the few ones I hadn't seen. I watched on your recommendation, and people have been recommending this me for years, and I've been missing it. You know?
Yeah.
It was not what I was expecting. I think I was expecting a bit more of like a crime type, the kind of the obvious tropes of film noir that play out in films like Kill Me Again, Blood Simple, Red Rock West. What else we got in that kind of mini movement? U-turn kind of ends with U-turn.
Yeah. What about Unforgettable, that Ray Liotta movie?
Oh, who directed that?
That's John Dahl too, I think.
John Dahl did that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Because he did Red Rock West, right?
Yeah, he did Red Rock West and Kill Me Again with Val Kilmer and Joanne Wally Kilmer.
Man, I don't think
that's kind of abstract movie, but it's good.
What's that movie with Val Kilmer where he's in the desert?
I think it's Kill Me Again. There's a lot of shots of rear view mirrors.
All right.
He's got a ponytail.
I'm thinking of a different movie though, where he's like a cop.
Oh, is it
Thunderheart?
Thunderheart. Yeah, that's it.
That movie's kind of good.
Is that kind of a neo noir? Would you say?
I don't know. I think maybe it has elements of that. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Directors like John Dahl and Carl Franklin, One False Move. Billy Bob wrote that one.
Yeah, I love One False Move, man. I mean, Carl Franklin did Devil in a Blue Dress too.
Yeah, I love Devil in a Blue Dress.
Is great.
Walter Mosley, he's a badass writer.
Yeah.
He wrote the book Easy Rollins' Devil in a Blue Dress. I wish they'd made like 5 more Devil in a Blue Dresses.
I do too, man. And when this came out, they were adapting Thompson stuff like The Grifters came out right around the same time as this one.
Yeah.
I feel like there's another Thompson adaptation that I'm forgetting maybe. Oh, The Getaway. Did we say that one?
The remake of The Getaway.
Remake.
No, Roger Donaldson directed, Kim Basinger, and Alec Baldwin, The Getaway.
Which is The Getaway kind of like the wellspring from which all this stuff flows, you know? I mean, I think there's probably
You think the 70s one, you mean? The Peckinpah?
Well, I mean the novel.
Oh, that's interesting. Like kind of like the Troublemaker Lovers on the Run.
Yeah, but setting it in the American Southwest and stuff, you know?
Maybe, but I mean, you could trace movies like The Getaway back to film noir lovers on the run films like Gun Crazy, Tomorrow is Another Day, They Live by Night, and
is Ace in the Hole, is that a noir movie?
I would say Ace in the Hole's a noir film for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And
Touch of Evil?
Touch of Evil, 100%. In fact, some people argue Touch of Evil of the noir movement is the last noir. I think it's debatable. It could be Touch of Evil, Odds Against Tomorrow. And then there's a few stragglers that go into like maybe 61, 62. Then it becomes, I think, according to critics, neo-noir. And then we move into like 70s and 80s and 90s, and I think they call that all neo-noir. But I think we're kind of divvying this in its own little mini movement of 90s desert noir. But Blood Simple fits in that too, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say that.
So this movie, was not what I was expecting. I think I thought it was going to be more crime-like, and it was an interesting character piece. And I wasn't even sure if I was like, first half of it, I was a little bit like, this is kind of doing it with a rubber a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I think that kidnapping scene, what it's about, okay. It's an ex-boxer, played by Jason Patrick.
Do you like Jason Patrick?
I'm taking you home with me.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. What's your thoughts on Jason?
Well, what are you waiting for? You want to
I feel like he's kind of good in this movie.
Don't get the wrong idea about me.
He's like a real actor.
That's what I was saying. It's kind of an actory performance that he gives. But I'm an open-minded guy, and there's a place for everything in my life. Like, there's a place for bad acting, I think. Got some movies in here. Obviously, I haven't seen this one, Mission to Kill or Circle of Fear, but I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty sure they fucking suck.
Yeah.
But I'll watch them. He gives a real actory performance.
You don't really know anything about me.
You know, and he's doing it. But then let's just talk about the ending.
Yeah, let's just talk about it.
Now, because I was a little confused. At the ending, so what happens is it's basically about these 3 people, and they got these kind of toxic relationship, and they plan to kidnap a rich guy's kid.
Yeah.
Kind of like if Chip got kidnapped. and they're going to hold him for ransom and split the money. You know, so we got Jason Patric, Rachel Ward, and Bruce Dern.
Bruce Dern is amazing.
Always.
I mean, in this movie, whipping ass.
Yeah, he's whipping ass. He's like definitely giving a
I like the old guys, like the Doctor too.
Yeah, that guy, and so
that guy's from like Psycho 2, and he's in some other stuff too.
So I went and I read a review afterwards by Roger Ebert. It was an after the fact review, and he was saying, I think it completely. Maybe I was only half listening to a piece of dialogue. The scene where he says, "I want you to stay here," and then Jason Patric runs away. I think I didn't realize that there was a sexual desire going on with that doctor.
They're using you for their own criminal purposes.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. So it's been a while since I read the book,
which we got a copy of right here.
Which I had an extra copy, so I brought one for Gare.
I appreciate that. I don't read shit. I watch tapes, but maybe I'll take a look.
I implore you to check it out.
Okay, maybe I will.
It kind of, in a way, I wanted to say, I love Jim Thompson. This is not my favorite Jim Thompson book. I don't love the story here compared to some of his other movies like Population 1280, which is made into Coup de Torchon by Bertrand Tavernier.
I haven't seen that, but
that's a great movie, great book.
Now I'm going to watch it.
And I know last time we talked about Killer Inside Me. I think Killer Inside Me is a stronger work from him. I think Getaway, although they've never made a good Getaway movie.
You don't think either of the Getaway movies are good?
I think Sam Peckinpah did like an okay job, but like they didn't do the ending of the book. In both the ending of the book, they have to hide out in like a literal pile of shit, and then they have to get in these like underwater caves.
Right.
Take these pills so they'll sleep and not freak out.
So McQueen and McGraw were like, we ain't gonna get in that shit part. We ain't gonna do that part.
Well, I think that they do have that. That's what they compromise with, right? Don't they get in a pile?
I don't remember. I've only seen Peckinpah's Getaway one time.
They don't go to El Rey. At the end of the novel, they have to go to this city called El Rey where you can't leave.
Yeah.
And everything costs so much money, and like you can't get more money. So when you run out, basically you got to go to the outskirts of town where people are eating people.
Whoa.
And it's like hell on earth.
Whoa. Yeah, Jim Thompson, he does have a real sense of hell on earth.
He does. So like those are my After Dark My Sweet is like almost A tier Thompson, but it's like riding the line between the A and the B tiers.
Yeah.
Thompson. So like the twist at the end of this is kind of like a watered down version
it's the twist
of what we've gotten from the other Killer Inside Me, Population 1280. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because he's like, actually, I'm not insane. I pretend to be insane. But it's like, buddy, we're listening to your inner monologue here. I'm pretty sure you're insane.
Well, there's a memorable scene where he lays down in the bed and it's a shot. You know, the shot is of his whole body in the bed and he's by himself and he just starts crying.
Yeah.
It made me think, after I saw that part, like, guess what? I ain't insane. I planned it all. I've just been faking the whole time. Oh, by the way, he's an ex-boxer.
Here. That's what they used to call him, Kid Collins.
Which is a very noirish trait. I mean, boxing is a noir film, got a history of depicting boxer. Talking about setup, 99 River Street, Champion, Body and Soul, you know.
City.
Boxer, he's a promoter, right?
It's built around boxing.
Yeah,
he's not a boxer, but
And wrestling, there's wrestlers there too, yeah. See, now, Not in the City.
Is Brute Force, is he an ex-boxer in that movie?
Lancaster?
Yeah. Is there some boxing element in that? Okay, never mind. I don't mean to derail you.
But, because, I'll get railroaded. So anyway, he's like, I'm faking. Now I'm gonna kill the kid.
Don't hurt me, mister.
I wasn't sure whether to believe it or not.
I'm pretty sure if I'm to understand from what I've read from the novel, and I've seen the movie now a few times, I think that he thinks he's that smart, but he's actually not.
I told you, Faye, right from the beginning that I wasn't stupid.
It is kind of a dumb movie. He's like, I'm gonna kill the kid. Let me just bend over and make this easily accessible gun there for the movie trope.
In the book, it's even a little more clear where he's like, I'm gonna kill the kid, and he's like getting out of the car, and he makes the fall out of his pocket into the seat, and he knows, but he just lets it be in the seat. So then he's walking away.
Interesting.
And he gets shot in the back.
So maybe
it's a little weird.
Is it kind of like I'm a master manipulator, but I just can't not play the game of manipulation? So I'm like, I'm telling you I'm dumb. I'm telling you I'm smart, and I want you to think I'm smart, but I'm also smart enough to know that I'm pretending to be dumb. Go ahead and kill me.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing?
I guess. It's weird.
Now,
I'm not going to say it's not weird. It doesn't make sense. I don't know if it works completely, but...
The movie, how do you feel about the movie?
I love them. I love the look of the movie, man.
Yeah.
I mean...
You really believe there could be a you and me?
And I do like Jason Patric.
No, Jason Patric's got some good performances, and yeah, he is actory, but I was going to say there is a place for an actory performance. I love Mickey Rourke in Barfly.
Yeah.
He's doing all this like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
a drunk, and I'm acting all soupy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm acting like fake Marlon Brando,
Yeah.
but I love that performance. He really did physically transform. He's got himself
He's
a
like
boxer
doing a
body,
walk,
and he's kind of got that
he's
short-heeled
like
thing
doing like
going.
a thing.
It's a little bit, so in some ways, it's a little bit much, but on the same time, like, hey, he's having fun. I'm having fun.
I think he's a great actor. I think he has he's real choosy with his roles, and then I think he's turned down a lot of stuff that he probably shouldn't have turned down.
Yeah.
He's
Like, what else did he
he's
turn
kinda
down?
didn't he turn down Speed 1 and he ends up doing Speed 2?
Is that what happened?
I think so.
And then Keanu
I might
turned
be
it
wrong
down?
about that, but
I know
he's like for a while he was a very choosy actor, but it's like he ultimately could be only one Warren Beatty, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's handsome. He's a good-looking
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
And that last shot at the very end of the movie when he's like looking into it's framed where they got the car, part of the car, they frame and he's kind of looking down. I mean, something about that shot. I
Yeah.
really like that shot.
Yeah.
And the kidnapping scene where he's dressed up and he's got the station wagon, he's dressed up like the guy
Yeah.
who's usually, that whole sequence, interesting. Like, I think about noir, and I think sometimes the more preposterous it is,
Yeah.
the more I like it. Because it's a metaphor. We're watching a movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a scene was like, well, this is very preposterous. He's really dressed up like the kidnapper, and he's really got that station wagon. They found the station wagon, the whole thing, and I like it. Same with the kid is a kind of almost catatonic. You know what I mean? So I can enjoy a movie where it don't play out like it might really play out because it's cinematic.
I love the ending too when Bruce Stern he's all like, I made it, and he just gets killed.
Yeah.
And then that guy who kills him gets killed.
That
immediately.
part was, I wasn't expecting it. Also, the sex scene's kind of strange, you know? Like
I loved it, personally.
Yeah, tell me.
I don't know.
It's just
You don't
erotic.
see sex scenes a lot in movies, and that's it. It's like they keep fucking over and over, like, and then like they'll finish. And
While the
like,
kid is dying.
it'll fade out.
Yeah.
Come back in. It's like they have sex like 5 times in that montage.
And they've been building it for a while. And so the thing about Roger Ebert's review, he's saying that they're all drunks and they're all kind of bound together in this desert miserable life because she's a widow and Uncle Bob, Bruce Dern, is kind of like just a hanger on her, and then he's this wash-up boxer loser. They all just kind of have this unhealthy relationship where bad ideas manifest. I guess I was sort of just watching, and sometimes I don't pick up on everything right away. And I wasn't really picking up that she is sort of like a drunk, forlorn, hiding behind her.
She's maybe like, I mean, the casting ain't perfect. I think Bruce Dern's maybe the only perfect casting in this. Jason Patric, I think, is interesting. I don't think she's bad in the movie, but yeah, she needs to be a little more haggard, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, as you read the book, she's supposed to be beautiful, but the book really hammers home how liquor soaked all these people are.
Yeah.
You know?
Rachel Ward is sort of like,
What is she in? What is she from?
I always used to get her mixed up with Jacqueline Bisset because they're both kind of look the same.
Is she in The Guardian? Rachel Ward?
Rachel Ward's in Against All Odds, which is another kind of one of those Taylor Hackford neo-noir. It's a remake of Out of the Past, which is an original noir with Mitchum, and it's got Jeff Bridges. There's a movie called No Way Out with Kevin Costner and Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
And then there's a noir called No Way Out with Sidney Poitier, Richard Widmark.
I haven't seen either of those.
And they don't have anything to do with
They're
each
not
other.
related?
They're
Okay,
not related.
yeah.
But then there's also a movie called The Big Clock. No Way Out is a remake of, I think it's a remake of The Big Clock. Which is a noir with Ray Milland. Anyway, Rachel Ward, obviously she's very beautiful.
Oh, shit, Revenge. Kevin Costner. That's another movie.
Tony Scott?
That would fit in this. The Desert Neo-Noir.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, yeah. And then True Romance kind of does the Lovers on the Run type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of these movies, a lot of these desert noir films, they led way to that Quentin Tarantino knockoff trend of the 90s.
Yeah.
Trouble Bound, there was another one. that you mentioned.
Trouble Bound, Michael Madsen.
Michael
a
Madsen.
Tarantino regular.
Patricia Arquette. Yeah. After Dark, My Sweet, I want to give it more credit than saying it's like doing it with a rubber. You know what I mean? I guess sometimes it just depends on what you're in the mood for. Never in the mood to do it with a rubber.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 ways to look at it. If you're interested in this entire mini movement we're talking about, it's a must-see.
Yeah.
If you're interested in all the film adaptation of Jim Thompson, it's a must-see. If you're interested in James Foley's movies, it's a must-see. If you're interested in Jason Patric's performances, must-see.
Yeah.
Or Bruce Dern's.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think it must be a must-see.
Yeah. I think it's a Dale Jr.
Okay, Dale Jr. That's a good way of putting it. It's a
You know,
Dale
I mean,
Jr.
it's not like
It ain't
the
a Harrison Burton.
No, even for James Foley, it's like, I like At Close Range more than this. I probably like Fear more than this movie.
Oh, for real?
You know?
Yeah.
And honestly, as I was watching this, I was like, man, if they could have made this 5-6 years later, Wahlberg would be perfect for the lead role of this movie.
Oh, man.
As like a dumb ex-boxer who's got some screws loose.
I think you're, damn, you know what? You're fucking right on the money. Wahlberg would slam dunk that part.
I think so. I think
he
Foley
lives that
probably
part.
felt the same way. That's why he's in Fear.
Right.
You
He
know,
was like,
but,
shit, if
yeah.
I'd had you when I was making after. Also worth noting, this movie was a dud at the box office. And I think, Ian, you got a shot of that, Ian? I think it's probably got something to do with this boring ass poster. Wouldn't you say?
You don't like the poster?
Well, it just don't got nothing to do with the movie. It looks like it's a sensual. This looks like 9.5 weeks.
Kind of makes it look like they're going to be fucking through the whole movie. When
Yeah, they
it
don't-
happens, it's like minute 91, I noticed.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn.
They
Is
didn't
this
get
the first time?
Yeah, they don't start fucking till like way into the movie, and it's also like there's a kid dying in the other room.
Yeah.
So it's the most
Well-
inopportune, unsexy time to fuck, but they just gotta let
One
it
of
out.
the things about this, and a lot of like the adaptations of this, is like this movie, or the book, I mean, is like set in 1950 or whatever. You know, he's like writing it like, and so they transpose it into the 1980s, and it didn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
Like some of the things, like he punches the doctor in the chest and gives him a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's like such a weird thing to do. Like I feel like that makes sense in a novel from 1950.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, can we do it a little bit different?
It's
Did you ever realize that that's what happened?
Not until they said on the radio that he died.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw him punch him, and it did seem like, is that his way of killing him? Because the way that it was the acting that cued it to me, where he goes, "Who?"
Yeah.
You know, and I thought
Yeah.
that seems like this was and it seemed like I'm going. You know, he was kind of like, "I hate to do this to you." Boom, like that, like he knew that would kill
Such
him.
a weird angle too. I don't know if he could have like actually.
It seemed like he hit him on the side or something. He
Yeah.
said, you know. Also, that was another thing about him as a boxer. In the flashbacks, they told us like he had this dark history of he killed
Yeah.
a guy in the ring and by
Yeah.
taking his glove off. And they did do that thing, you know, that Ryan Gosling thing where he's always punching someone real fast.
You're real good.
It's kind of stupid sometimes. It's like,
You really believe there could be a you and me?
anyway, should we move on from
Let's
After Dark
move
this week?
on, yeah.
Yeah. What should we do next?